Hey guys, Matt here. So I know the whole Palantir coverage thing has been done over and over today and yesterday, but I want to talk about something. Oh, I still want to talk about the earnings, but something a little different in that the earnings. I mean the numbers. I mean revenue is great. There are a lot of numbers that weren't great. Some numbers were great. I mean my overall opinion on the company itself, Palantir as a whole. I mean, I think Palantir is still on the right track. They're having some growth stunts, but I don't think there's anything that can't be remedied. That's my short version of the earnings themselves by the numbers. So it was bad, but nothing that can't be fixed. However, a large part of assessing a company is judging their management team, and you might know where I'm going with this. Now I might be wrong, but while listening to Palantir's earnings on Monday, like I had to fight the urge to sell everything because every single person on that call was absolutely insufferable. There wasn't a single shred of charisma throughout all the members of that call. Now, I want to set the stage real quick. So, Palantir has missed the past 3 earnings in a row. I want you to keep that in mind. Also, Palantir's earnings, current earnings, were so bad that, like I said, there were some good parts and bad parts, but the really bad part is that they had to cut guidance for the third quarter and for the full year. Now, I'm not going to read this. You can pause to read this if you want to, but it's pretty substantial. Now, having said that, and all these misses, I think Palantir as a company, I think it's performing very well. But I think the management, and this is a part of their transcript. However, I do believe that if you want to get a full experience as to how bad this is, I highly recommend you listen to the webcast because the voices and their tone matters a lot throughout throughout this. And just to give you an example of what I'm talking about here, is we got the first Q&A question was, when are you expecting to become profitable? Alex Karp, the CEO, someone who I originally liked when I was first researching the company, because I do like I would say confidence bordering on arrogance. I do like that quality in CEOs, but Alex Karp throughout this whole conference is absolutely insufferable. Like he just can't get through a single question without talking shit about someone and just going round and about instead of answering the question. And so to this first question, instead of just saying 2025, and yes, it's clear now. Alex Karp expects this company to be profitable in 2025, which sucks. But it would have been so much easier if he would have just said that. However, he goes on this roundabout explanation, which he talks shit about Palo Alto and talks about political reasons and blah blah blah. Yes, I know Alex is a socialist and blah blah blah. I don't hold that against him. But God, he just goes roundabout. And then we got the other guy, another guy. I don't know if it's Shyam or someone else, but he's the guy who goes the entire meeting talking like a freaking car salesman, like a lawyer. Like I talked about this last earnings, where instead of talking like a human being, like none of these people talk like human beings. They all sound like a cross between a salesman, some sort of AI. None of them sound like human beings at all. Oh, and another thing too, another question about contractors and partners and stuff, and proof of the confidence that government are choosing to go with Palantir versus someone else. And then Alex Karp once again uses this opportunity to talk shit, and he goes on about talking about marriage and love, marriage and necessity, saying that if these people could choose a partner other than Palantir, they would. But they can't emulate the software that Palantir builds, and so they're forced to work with them. They have to because, yeah, it just shows this management in a really bad light. And earlier during the remarks, I can't remember who it was, but they have this theme, Palantir, really thriving in very troubling times, which wouldn't make a lot of sense and would hit a lot better had not Palantir failed expectation for the past 3 quarters. So something's not working. So whatever their claims are of Palantir thriving during difficult times, it ain't quite working. So my long-term version on Palantir hasn't really changed. So I haven't bought or sold any shares. It's just that it's a little disheartening, and this is not the first earnings where it's happened. I mean, I thought it was a one-off when I was researching the company and I listened to one of their earnings calls and was that pissed poor. That pissed poor. Then it happened last earnings. Then it happened this earnings. But they're executive management because we're not analysts. We don't have full insight as to the day-to-day goings on of how the executives are doing things. But the only insight that us normal people have are is their conduct during these earnings calls, and whether it floats between car salesman and trash talker, like it doesn't paint Palantir in a good light, and it's something that as I feel like if Palantir is because they keep talking trash about everyone, like at some point, especially when the chips are just down, you got to start making friends at some time. You got to start making friends, and when Palantir is trash talking everyone, like no one's going to like the company in the long term. But anyways, I went on. I rambled on long enough. But anyways, take care. Have a great day, and eat your vegetables.